In words of Robert F. Kennedy, each time a man stands up for an ideal, or acts to improve the lot of others, or strikes out against injustice, he sends forth a tiny ripple of hope and crossing each other from million different centers of energy, and daring those ripples build a current that can sweep down the mightiest walls of oppression and resistance. A very warm welcome to all of you. I am Abdul PC, NSS volunteer from St. Andrews College, and I'll be your host for the day. So, first and foremost, let me give you a brief detail about PCGT. PCGT stands for Public Concerns for Governance Trust. It was founded by late Mr. B.G. Deshmukh, former Cabinet Secretary to the Government of India, Mr. Julio Ribeiro, former Mumbai Police Commissioner and Director General of Justice Staff, and Dr. R.K. Anand, pediatrician and former Director of Jaslok Hospital, in order to strive for good governance in the city of Mumbai. PCGT has initiated Youth for Governance or YFG program to sensitize youth on issues of governance and to develop leadership skills, especially in public activities. It provides a platform for youth to collectively question, discuss, and initiate action on related issues. YFG has various programs like RTI program, PCGT dialogue, and good governance campaign that mobilizes youth and promote issues of governance, sexual harassment, eve-teasing, and emerging social concerns of the contemporary world. With that being said, let me introduce you to Ms. Rekha Sahani, who is one of the trustees of PCGT. Ms. Rekha served as a teacher and principal of Kamla High School. She also represented as a trustee of Sindh Brahma Sikhya Sammelan, which runs Kamla High School and allied institutions. During her stint as the principal, she was instrumental in setting up various school-linked programs. She was successful in overseeing the longest partnership of an Indian school with the UK of about 14 years. She continues to work with the British Council as its ambassador for its core skill program. Being a firm believer in inclusion in education, it led her to admit students with disabilities and economic difficulties in the mainstream school. She represented India during the Kashmir peace talks with the ambassador of Pakistan through the People to People dialogue and volunteered with the Center for Dialogue and Reconciliation or CDR and traveled to Pakistan on programs conducted by the CDR. She is the territory head, Mumbai, of Early Childhood Association. Now, I would like to invite Rekha ma'am to share her thoughts with us. Ma'am?
Thank you so much. And thank you to all the wonderful NSS volunteers who volunteer their time with us. Today, we are indeed lucky to have Dr. Anand with us also, who is the founder of PCGT. So, Dr. Anand, though I can't see you, but I know you're there. And your name is Abu Zaid. Abu Zaid, when you were talking about peace, you have the right person today amidst us, Mr. Arun Wakhlu, a great friend of PCGT and a very old friend of mine. And it was thanks to him that I was instrumental into this peace to peace dialogue with the Kashmiris and the Pakistanis. And Arun sir is here. I know you all are going to introduce him, but he has this vision of one wholesome world. And being a graduate from IIT and IIM, you can imagine his thought process are so broad. But what he really works on is the human touch. And I always tell Brensden that there are some friends of mine who need to come on this NSS platform, and Mr. Arun Wakhlu is one of this person. And leadership, we have to learn from him. He has been a great friend, he has been a great mentor, he's been a great guide. And when PCGT restarted the training for police and compassionate training, it was Mr. Arun Wakhlu who actually set up the entire schedule for us. So, students and friends, you all have the right person this evening for this 1.5 hour or whatever time to share with us his journey and guide us in our journey. Over to you all.
Thank you ma'am for your golden words. So, moving on, let me introduce you our speaker for the day, Mr. Arun Wakhlu, a
Please
globally
just
recognized
request one second. We request everybody to be on mute rather than the host trying to put everybody on mute. Only the yeah. Thank you. If you all could be on mute. Thank you.
So, moving on, let me introduce you our speaker for the day, Mr. Arun Wakhlu. A globally recognized trainer, coach, and facilitator in leadership and organizational transformation with over 25,000 hours of experience in coaching. He is also the chairman of Pragati Foundation, an NGO dedicated to unfolding joy, peace, and abundance through facilitating connections, conversations, and co creation. An eloquent presenter, insightful coach, and a master facilitator, he has worked to develop leaders in leading organizations right from business and NGOs up to government. An accomplished writer, he has published more than 28 papers and written the award winning book Managing from Heart. Not taking much of your time, I request Arun sir to start with his session. Over to you, sir.
Very much, Abu Zaid, and thank you, Rekha, and thank you to everyone present here for this opportunity to converse with you and interact with you. I'm also grateful to Renzon of PCGT, who was instrumental in working with Rekha to make this happen. I just want to do a quick check. Am I clearly audible to everyone? You can just let me know. Is it?
Yes,
Yes,
Yeah?
sir,
sir.
you are.
Okay, fantastic. Good. Okay, so friends, today I am going to be speaking a little bit about being the juice of life, and we look at what exactly is happening in the world right now. And I'm very grateful to many of you who have responded to the questionnaire. Very grateful for your honest open sharing about the concerns of young people, so I have that with me. And then we look at what do we mean by juice. What exactly is juice of life, and how do I be that? And when I am that, what does it do for things like inclusion, for things like being one with other people, for being peaceful, for being creative, and for making a difference in the kind of things that the world desperately needs right now. And I'm very happy, very grateful to be speaking to a young audience because, friends, you are the future of not only India but also the future of the world. I think the adults, barring a few wonderful exceptions like Dr. Anand and Rekha ma'am and all, have really created a bit of a mess in the world, and it's now for the young people like all of you to really take things forward. So again, can I request the host to please mute as many people as possible so that we're not disturbed? Yeah? Okay. So let me move on with on a note of great gratitude. Very grateful to, as I said, the people who made this happen, grateful to you, and also very grateful to Master COVID for giving us a whack on the head, giving humanity a whack on the head, and getting us to really rethink what we are doing, why are we doing things, what is the purpose of life, what exactly is going on, what is it all about. And I think without this wake up call from what we call Master COVID, because he's been a great master to humanity in a way, we would probably not have paused to reflect on what are we doing, why are we doing this, what exactly is happening. So I'm very grateful to this little Master COVID, although it has created a lot of suffering. But something good is also going to come out. Let me just spend a bit of time on what is success. What exactly have we been calling success in the past? I was pretty distressed, to be very honest with you, at the kind of things I read when I asked many of you the three common concerns that young people face today. The kind of things that you wrote is social anxiety, mental health issues. Mental health came up a lot of time, depression came up a lot of times, environmental issues, ragging, lack of confidence, concerns about money shortage, body image issues, am I good enough, bullying, societal pressure, uh, just anxiety about the future, what's going to happen, what's going to happen to our jobs, and the pressure of exam time, fights within the family, being judged, lack of freedom, pressure, and so on, alcohol and drug abuse, and overuse of technology, addiction to the screen, and many such things which uh, came up. So I was honestly, I'm very, very grateful that you shared honestly. And I'm also very concerned that we have, that we've created a world where young people who should be full of joy and energy and juice and creativity and enthusiasm to create a new world are feeling like this. I mean, honestly, as a teacher, as a parent, as an adult who was instrumental in making this kind of world happen, I felt very pained. And but at the same time, I'm very grateful to all of you for sharing this. Friends, I think one of the fundamental problems that humanity has faced, which has brought us to this sad pass, is the kind of notion we have of success. For us, success has contracted us instead of expanding our hearts, expanding our joy, expanding our creativity, expanding our connectedness to the earth, to the animals, to people of all races and all communities and all religions, and celebrating that, we have become more and more contracted, more and more narrow in our thinking, narrow in our vision, narrow in our thing. And it's all about me and mine and myself and my well being and so on. So things have become very, very contracted. The notions of success have become very contracted. And because they've become contracted and because people have become fearful, naturally there is an increase in control. So I want to control the environment, I want to control my diet, I want to control my weight, I want to control my students in the class, I want to control everything, and I cannot be free if I am working from control. I cannot be free. Just imagine if you have if you have your foot on somebody's neck, how far can you run? If you're stuck with something and you're trying to control it, are you really free? You're not. I mean, a person was carrying a cow and he was carrying the cow with a string, and somebody said, "Is the cow leading you or you are leading the cow?" He said, "I am leading the cow." And somebody gave the cow a whack on the back, and the cow started running, and this person started running after the cow, and he said, "See, you're not leading the cow is leading you." So control is what emerges when we have a limited notion, and because of these two things, we are constrained. We are constrained in our time, in our energy, in our the way we do things, and so on. So this has led, I think, friends, uh, is to the kind of anxiety, the kind of issues, the kind of tension, the kind of abuse of drugs and other things, and sheer unhappiness that we are experiencing right now. Not only young people, I think adults, many adults are in not in a very different place, running around all the time, and wondering what we're doing. Where does juice come in here now? Where does juiciness come in? So let me tell you a little bit of stories about success, true success. So first let's look at true success, and then I'll come back to juice. Yeah. So true success, friends, is when I am working from a space of love and compassion. And when I'm showing love and compassion to myself, I'm really inside a feeling of great joy within myself. There is deep acceptance, there is deep gratitude. And I feel a joy within myself. My body is feeling happy, my mind is feeling happy, my emotions are full of joy and full of gratitude, full of energy and enthusiasm. That is one, a lot more joy. The second thing is joy for myself. The other thing is when I feel a deep compassion for other people, when I feel a deep compassion for all people, irrespective of their caste, creed, color, nationality, whether they're from Nepal or Pakistan or Timbuktu or any place on the planet, I feel compassion with them. I feel at peace with them. That is the other dimension of compassion. Compassion for yourself gives you joy, gives you a deep sense of okayness, a deep sense of joy. Compassion for other people gives us peace. And the third element is compassion for the environment. Can we treat the animals, the plants, the whole ecosphere as compassionately as we treat ourselves, treat other people, and treat you know thoughts, words, actions, and other people. And if we are loving towards the environment, if we are loving towards the soil, if we are loving towards the farmers, if we are loving towards everything, the trees and the soil and everyone, believe me, nature has enough for our needs, but not for our greed. We have enough. We have enough. If you look at the solar radiation on Earth, it is many, many times more than the energy requirements of what humanity needs. Yeah. But what happens is that this joy and this compassion somewhere gets lost, and we look at why it gets lost. But what I mean when I say juice, I mean there is great joy in life, there is great peace, there is celebration, there is abundance, there is a sense of wholeness and deep okayness. And I think that's what health is about. Dr. Anand sir would probably agree with me that that's what health is about. Health is not only that my BP is okay, my weight is no. I mean, health is this wholeness, and this is true success. Now, young leaders have a huge opportunity ahead of us. Huge opportunity. Can we lead with compassion? Can we lead to create a new story for the planet Earth, for its people, for its animals? Can we do this total clarity? Can we do it with conviction? Can we do it with courage? I think this is the question I think we would love to discuss and reflect on and think about. And the answer is yes, friends, knowing you, knowing the strengths you have. Strengths. I'll just read out some of the strengths you mentioned. I had asked you, what are your strengths? I'm good with people. I'm very good at and calm with people. Excellent at communicating. I can easily communicate. I'm always positive. I'm hardworking, patient. I'm a team worker. I have self control, I have dedication, I have kind heartedness, I'm a social worker, I love to dance, I can easily tackle people, I can easily, be a awesome learner, and so on. So I think there's such beautiful strengths that you've listed out. So, with these kind of strengths, with this kind of challenge in front of us, I see this as a huge opportunity for every young person. And to be a leader, you don't have to be in charge of something, you just have to be a person who's juicy, who has a vision, and who is moving forward with initiative and great joy. Coming to juice now, let me tell you a little story. Now, the story is that this is a scene from Srinagar, Kashmir, and I live just 5 minutes away from this in Srinagar. Of course, right now I'm in Pune, where my home is, but this is my ancestral home, and
No
I
charging
live
even मेरे को
just 5 minutes away from this kind of a scene, the Dal Lake. And one of the things about Kashmir is that it is meant to be the home of this lady, Sharda. She's called Ma Sharda, Ma Saraswati. And Kashmir is the home of Ma Saraswati. And let me tell you a bit more about what Saraswati stands for. Now, if you have understood a little bit about art, it's all about the emotions. It's about the now rasas. It's about, all kinds of rasas and the emotions of life, the fear, the emotions of of joy and laughter and so on. So, like a color box, all these emotions are evoked through art. So, you have music, which can evoke certain rasas, you have drama, your writing, which can evoke certain rasas and so on. But Saraswati is the mother of all this juiciness. She's the mother of all these emotions. And that is why she's called Saraswati. And what Saraswati means, the one who's endowed with juice, with juiciness. And this juiciness is not about these emotions. They are like the surs, the different notes of the octave. She stands for the Param Ras, which is like silence is to music, like that, the real self, the essence, the sar, the infinite silence and peace and love in the heart, that is the ras that Ma Saraswati stands for. And that is the ras I'm talking about. That is exactly the ras or the juice I'm talking about. So and of course I'll share with you how you can access that, how you can be that, and to understand that you're already that, but we are so busy running around, we forget that we are so incredibly full of joy and creativity and peace. And oh my God, it's unbounded, infinite. But we forget that because we're running around, running around, running around. We never sit still. We never pause. We never observe the miracle that is life, of how beautifully a rose opens up, how beautifully the seasons change, how beautifully a little tiny sperm and an egg grow into a beautiful baby. And then, oh my God, it's so wondrous. It is so wondrous. But we miss it because we're running around. We're not in the present. Another thing about Saraswati is her name also means the one who has found the sar of Swa. The sar of Swa. Swa is myself, and Sar is the essence. Yeah. And there's a hand raised. I'll come to you in a minute. Just give me a minute, and I'll come right back to whoever raised the hand. Now, let me tell you something. Before you misunderstand what I'm saying, I think the sour or the juiciness of life has to do with life as a whole. It has nothing to do with a particular religion or a particular geography or anything. It's really, although the myth goes that she's in Kashmir, she's really infinite. She's all over, right? So, coming to this now, just look at this symbol carefully. What is it? Is it a zero or is it an infinity? I would like you to put it in the chat box. Put in the chat box, what is this? Is this zero? Okay, Hinduja Swati says it's infinity. But yeah, infinity, yes. But what about the circle outside? Yeah, both. Fantastic. It's both. It's infinity also. It is zero also. Wonderful, wonderful. It is infinity and it is zero. Yeah. And this symbol is a symbol of the juice of life. Yeah, and the name it has, I'll give you the name. It's called the Inshuk. And it means it is infinity also, it is Shunya also, and it's a Q, which is a mystery, means hello, what is this? We don't know what it is. It is a mystery. Now, let me explain this a little more. If you go down into the atoms and the molecules will come to atoms. If you get into the atoms, you'll find that you will come to uh, neutrons and all kinds of small particles. And you go deeper into these small particles and you find that it's all strings, vibrating strings of energy. This is from quantum physics. And you go deeper into these vibrating strings and you find there's nothing there, nothing at all, nothing, nothing, totally empty. So all this stuff, the people running around and the animals and the cars, you go deep down inside, you go look deep down inside, you peel away all the layers of the onion, and friends, there's nothing there, just pure silent emptiness, just pure empty awareness. So that's one end of the spectrum, that's the zero. But the other end of the spectrum is the entire galaxies, the sun and the stars and everything out there in the cosmos, that infinite expanse is again held in that same mystery of awareness, in the same mystery of consciousness. And this, therefore, is really a symbol of life. It is neither a zero nor is it infinity. It is both and neither of these. And if you understand this, if you really understand this and you really go deep into this, you will get a taste of what that juiciness that I'm talking about is. You'll get a taste of your wholeness. You'll get a taste of who you really are, which is incredible, which is amazing, amazing. I mean, I'm bowing down to each one of you because you're expressions of that wondrous divine energy. You're sacred, sacred and beautiful. And I'm so full of joy and so full of love for each one of you because you're sacred, you're divine. On the one hand, there's nothing there, but that nothingness is not an empty, empty nothingness. It is full of joy. It is full of infinite creativity. It's full of so much and abundance. And if we understand that, if we understand that and we learn to work with this and dance with this juiciness, life will be different. Your life will be different. All of life will be different. Let me explain how. So here's the thing. I mean, this is something to remember, right? I'll come back to this, but let me come back to the juice now. So don't go too much by the image of juice, and I hope it doesn't make your mouth water, thirsty stuff. But number one, huge amount of joy. Ananda is really what it's about. It is about joy, not the kind of joy that comes from, oh, I had an ice cream, it was very, very nice, and now I'm not having it. And so, no, it is uncaused joy, joy that has no reason. It's not joy that comes from somebody or something. I went to a beautiful place and I felt joy. Those things come and go. You're in a nice place, feel joyful. You go to an ugly place and you're not joyful. Yeah, that's not the kind of joy I'm talking about. I'm talking of unbroken, unconditional joy, unbroken, unconditional happiness. That's the joy I'm talking about. Number two, unity. All of us have the same juice. We're all, it's not as if, at deep down, you are different from me or I'm different from anyone else. Yeah, on the surface, the waves are different, but deep down, the ocean is exactly the same. Infinite, no boundaries, no limitations, nothing. No limitations, infinite and creative. And as I said, emptiness. Now let's look at this a little more and then come down to what does it mean for us as young people, as NSS, as PCGT, what does it mean for St. Andrews? What does it mean for all of us? So let's start with the first one. Let's start a little more on joy. Yeah. So if this juice is all over the place, then why does it hello? Then why am I depressed? Why am I unhappy? And the reason why I'm unhappy is because the ego envelops this juice over. I get stuck in the mind. I get stuck in the past memories. I get stuck in hurts. I get stuck in all kinds of things from the past and anxieties about the future. And this, and yes, of course, blaming. Why are you unhappy? They are doing this to me. Others are doing this to me. That one didn't do. Yeah. And we find that all my juiciness is overshadowed. Like on a cloudy day, the sun gets overshadowed. All my juiciness, all my ananda goes for a toss. And again, if you look at all this, the past and the future are like clouds. They're like clouds, and these clouds are overshadowing the glory and beauty of the moment. Guilt from the past, regrets, grievances, sadness, bitterness, non forgiveness, judgments of myself, judgments of other people, all coming from the mind, all coming from the mind, hammering away at the beauty of the moment. Or anxieties about the future. What's going to happen to my work? What will happen to this? What will happen to my exams? Blah, blah, blah. And I lose the moment. I mean, I was on a hill watching a beautiful sunset with a person, and the person said to me, in Nirula's, there's a beautiful restaurant where you get beautiful pizzas. I said, well, look at the sunset. Look at the beautiful sunset. No, it was Nirula's New Delhi pizza. Next day, we're in Vaishali restaurant in Pune eating fluffy idlis, nice, wonderful idlis with sambar, fragrant curry pata and all. The person says, remember the sunset? Remember the sunset? Not present. So, friends, the clouds of the mind can be removed if we learn to be in the now, if we learn to be present in the now. The past is history, the future is a mystery, but this moment is called the present because it's a gift, laden with gifts, laden with possibility, laden with joy and energy, right? So pause once in a while, friends. Pause, pause, pause. Sit silently, sit quietly. Even if for 3 minutes or 4 minutes, just take a moment to be still. I mean, like we teach in PCGT, in initiatives of change. I think many of you have attended these programs. Silent time, quiet time is so important to get us back into the now. So take time to pause and please make notes of some actionable points. So one of them is take time to pause. Secondly is choose joy. Choose joy. Do not choose thoughts that make you unhappy. Do not choose words that make you unhappy. Let's not choose, actions that make me unhappy. And one of the things that makes me happy is compassion and kindness, being kind to other people, helping other people, serving other people, as many of you said. As many of you have said, I'd love to do that. Fantastic. Learning new things, sharing, caring, compassion makes you immensely happy. Choose that. Duck or rabbit? What is this? Many of you will say it's a duck. Some of you will say it's a rabbit. If you look this way, it's a duck. If you look the other way, it's a rabbit. Yeah. But the point is, it's like either one. It depends on, yeah, exactly. It's both. Exactly, Swati. It is both. It depends on how you see it. So, like that, friends, remember the story. A little child asked his grandfather. In my mind, there are two wolves. There are two wolves who are always fighting with each other. One is talking about good things and doing good things and being happy and being grateful and cheerful, and the other one, wolf, is trying to take me towards negativity and destruction and all kinds of things. Which wolf will win? There's a raging battle in my mind. And the grandfather said something very simple. He said, son, the wolf that will win is the wolf that you feed. It's your choice. Whether you feed this, you keep on putting thoughts on this, or you keep on putting thoughts on that, it's your choice. And that choice will determine how you feel. It determines how things will unfold for you. Yeah. Coming to unity, one of the things that many of you mentioned in your the things that upset you and worry you is called body shaming. I'm concerned about my the skin color, or I'm concerned about this. Now, here's a tribe from the world. They're absolutely at peace, happy as ever, no problem. Wearing their beautiful feathers, wearing clothes of this kind, working, no problem at all, because they're accepting of themselves and take that as part of God's creation. This is our culture. This is who we are. Where's the shame? Where's the problem? Other cultures, very different from us. But that's fine. That's beautiful. And you go into the deep sea and you find all kinds of creatures. You find all kinds of creatures. Absolutely no problem with body shame or why have I got this or why my eyes like this. No problem at all. They're just totally at peace. Yeah. And so, therefore, coming back to a sense of unity, if I can understand that I'm okay, now here's a story. What color is the joker in the pack of cards? Is it spades, hearts, clubs, or diamonds? उसका रंग क्या है? जोकर का रंग क्या है? आप बताइए क्या है? You can put it in the chat box. What is the sweet or the color of the joker? Yeah, it's black. Someone's saying it's both. It's red and black. But is it hearts or clubs or spades or diamonds? What is it? It's anything that you want, right? So when we are anchored in a space of inner silence and inner peace and inner joy, you can be like the joker. You can be comfortable with anybody, any country, any nation, any race, because they're all my own. They're all part of the global family, completely my own and completely at one, right? So this is about unity. I think unity to see that in the other person, the same sacredness is there, the same divinity is there, the same juice of life is there as it is in me. That we both breathe the same air, all have come from the same sun, sun. We've all come from there. Everything has come from the sun. So we're one family. Just remembering that and not getting obsessed with my own separateness or my own differences while also celebrating the differences, I think that makes for more unity. Also, conversation. I think when we were listening to young people from all over the world for Charter for Compassion, working towards a youth conference, and I'll share more about it with all of you. One thing we found is just listening to each other, just silently listening to each other with empathy and compassion is so healing. It is so powerful. But today it's a rare thing. But when you sit together in a circle, when we listen to each other, everyone's voice is heard, everyone's feelings are heard, it creates magic and it creates a healing energy and a sense of unity that is very, very hard to find in today's times. Coming to infinity and creativity, I said earlier that you have infinite creativity, you are infinity, and it's a space of great creative energy. And creativity arises naturally because I'm not stuck in a certain perception, I'm not stuck in certain conditioning. I'm free of the mind. The mind is always trapping me in all kinds of difficult situations. It's trapping me in perceptions and judgments. But when I'm more like this, empty inside and creative, my God, creativity just bubbles over. I see things differently. I begin to notice things differently. I'm inspired. I'm totally in a new space. Now, many of you have asked about career. What about my career? What about my career? What will happen to my career? So one person, one young student asked his teacher. He said, "What will happen? What will happen to my career?" So the teacher said, "Go get me a rosebud." So the student went and got him a rosebud, a rosebud that was closed. And then he said, "But what does this have to do with my career? I want a job. I want a job. Please help me. I mean, how is this going to help me?" He said, "Hang on. Open this rosebud now, peel the calyx, and open the petals and give me a rose." Student said, "Impossible." He said, "No, no, give it a try." And he tried and he peeled the calyx off and he peeled off the petals, and the whole bud got broken into small bits and pieces. And the teacher said, "Son, do you know who makes this bud into a rose?" He said, "Yeah, well, there's some intelligence at work there." He said, "Now, if this little bud can become a rose with that intelligence working, can that intelligence not take care of your life and your career and your work?" So I think this is really what happens when you learn to trust that creativity, when you learn to trust that force, trust that power, you find that things do unfold. And I'm not saying don't do anything. Of course, you have to do something. I'm coming to that. But having trust is extremely important. Yeah. So creativity, remembering the infinite possibilities, there's so many opportunities out there. I'll give you a story, and many of you were part of this story. In May this year, we had to do a Education Today, Society Tomorrow compassionate conference. And the course director and I, we together decided that we're going to have it online. And 110 teachers, many of you included, I know many of you were there. Archana was there, Rekha was there, so many, I know Sharmila was there, so many of you were there. Gathered online, we had a beautiful conference, amazing conference, which is memorable. And who made it happen? Young students like you. These are the boys and girls who made it happen. From class 10, class 11, Reva Gandhi, Sumukh Kisala, they made it happen. And it's just that having faith in yourself, having faith that yes, we can do it. In fact, Sumukh and Reva went on to create a new platform called Multimeet. Yeah. So, and Bharat is working on hyperlinking mind maps to sites and all kinds of things. So, friends, infinite possibilities abound. There is a huge opportunity for more mastery, more autonomy, more purpose, but you have to give it to yourself. Purpose. Nobody can give you a higher purpose. If you say, okay, I'm going to think about the future, I will work with organizations like NSS and PCGT, and of course the college, and see what we can do, higher purpose beyond myself, beyond me and my concerns. Suddenly you find you're in a new world, totally new world. Yeah, mastery. Let me keep learning. Let me get better and better at whatever I'm doing. On the internet, there's so many YouTube things you can learn from. You can cook. I learned in the COVID times. I learned acrylic pour technique using uh, the internet. I learned how to bake a cake of ragi, that is finger millet, oats, bananas, and one more flour, and I learned how to make that cake. And you can learn so much on the internet, zero cost. Yeah, and autonomy means work with other people, listen to your heart. What do we want to do together? Just go ahead and do it. And all of us adults are here to serve you. We are here to support you. You seek a guidance. We are your servant leaders. We'll serve you to make it happen. Always remember, choose joy. Choose joy. Eat food that is joyful, not temporary joyful that gives you health and joy. Yeah. So just to summarize, joy, unity, infinity, creative, emptiness. The emptiness comes from regular meditation, regular silence. So I'm going to invite all of us to just take a moment to just be silent for 2 minutes, right? So I'm going to play a bell, and I'd invite the host to mute everyone and just be silent for 2 minutes. Yeah, that's my dog Zorba, so I'm going to mute myself. Okay, so let's be silent for 2 minutes. Okay, so that was a little silent, quiet time, and great opportunity to pause, great opportunity to dive into the peace of the heart, great opportunity to get intuition. When you have tuition from outside, that is tuition. When your inner guide, your inner guru is speaking to you, guiding you, that is intuition, tuition from within. And that's beautiful. And whenever I'm stuck, I just sit quietly. I surrender to the inner guide and say, please guide me. And boom, I get the guidance. I get what has to be done. Yeah. And a feeling of calm, a feeling of clarity. The mind settles down and I can see clearly. I can decide what has to be done. Right? So choose this. And of course, one other thing, I just want to leave two other thoughts with you, and then we're going to have question and answer. Be kind and be compassionate. Make kindness your motto. Be compassionate to animals. Be compassionate to each other. Let's not judge. Let's not attack each other. There's enough of that. Enough of that. Let's be kind. Let's be caring. And one of the most caring things you can do for your friends is to listen to them. Right? Not give gyan, not give advice. Say just, I'm here to listen to you. I will just be like the sky and I will listen to you. Pour out your heart. I'm not going to counsel you. I'm not going to advise you. I'm not going to do anything. I will just accept you as you are. The reason why animals are such a healing force, for children and young people is because they just are there. They're loving. They don't say anything. They don't give you gyan. They don't give you advice. They don't say what about your marks? What about your hair? Why are your hair like this? Or why is your nose like that? They don't care. They're just there lovingly wagging their tail for you. Unconditional love. Be like that. Let's be like that. Let's be compassionate. And I think the before we come to question and answer, I think let's just nourish this seed of guidance from inside. I think one of the most beautiful things is to listen to the juice in your heart, to listen to the peace in your heart, and then not just sit there, express it in service. Let me give you some data. Yeah. Before I come to that data, there's another little thing here. Who wants to change? Who wants change? Yeah, yeah, yeah. We all want. We all want. Who wants to change their thoughts, words, and actions? Suddenly the hands go down. Yeah. So, friends, it's about I. It has to begin with I. Initiative begins with I. Inspiration begins with I. Integration begins with I. Innovation begins with I. And India begins with I. You start with yourself. Let's forget about the world. Just start with creating ripples of juiciness, ripples of joy, ripples of laughter and dancing and music and compassion, and let these ripples go out into the world. And of course, service. I mean, it's shocking, but what I'm going to tell you is a bit disturbing. But again, it's a challenge for all of us. Every single year in India, about 3 lakh children die of malnutrition. 3 lakh children, friends. And that's about 820 kids die every day because they're not getting enough food. They're not getting enough food. 820 children. And at the same time, our nation, 40% of the food we produce is wasted. That's about the same amount that Britain eats in 1 year. We waste it. And that's worth 92,000 crores worth of food we waste every year. Can we do something about it? Can we make a difference? So these are the questions that I would leave you with. And another small example is between India and Pakistan. Rekha mentioned it, but subsequently we got children in Karachi to talk to children in Pune. And the children said, why is there so much hatred? Why can't we work together as one? And the answer is, of course we can. You have Zoom, everyone has Zoom. We can reach out to schools, we can reach out, and we'd be very, very happy to facilitate that. So I want to conclude with the story of the imaginal cells, the jugnus. See, when a butterfly has to become a butterfly out of the caterpillar has many, many imaginal cells in it, which is the cells of the butterfly and the caterpillar, but they get eaten up, they get quickly eaten. But then they start clumping and clustering and they start coming together. And sure enough, finally the butterfly is born and the caterpillar is born. So, like that, friends, each one of you is a jugnu. Each one of us is a jugnu. Can we come together? Can we start working together through NSS, through PCGT, through Foundation for Peace and Compassionate Leadership, through initiatives of change, through ETST, can we come together and start making a difference so that India becomes a lighthouse for the world? And young people today, you are the Jugnus of the future. You are the ones who can make it happen. All of us can make it happen, but the Jugnu has to first find the juice in the heart, has to find the joy and unity and infinity and creativity and silence and emptiness in the heart, and then pour it out in service, pour it out in celebration, in joy and enthusiastic service for a better life for all. And life, friends, the acronym I'd leave you with is life is love in full expression. Make every moment love in full expression. What would love do now? Love for my own body, love for my own mind, love for my health, love for other people, love for the environment, for animals. Make every single moment, which is never ever going to come back again, Never will it come back again. Let it be a moment of love in full expression. Let every single moment of our lives be love in full expression, giving, 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 sharing, and celebrating, and of course, getting nourished yourself and nourishing other people. Okay, so I'm going to stop here and leave it open for question and answer. We have 20 minutes for that, Rekha, Ren, and other people. So I'm going to stop sharing and throw it open for questions and have a conversation with you. I know there were many hands raised, so I'm going to stop sharing. 6:15, I have to have a sharp stop, but let's enjoy the conversation. Till then, thank you so much. Yes, all for questions. Let them come. Let's have your juicy questions or any questions, not only juicy, anything. Yes, so just raise your hands and I will see who's raised their hands and then I'll call you one by one. Yeah, so raising hands is the little thing there. There's a little icon which by which you can raise your hands. Yes. And if there are no questions, then we will meditate. More meditation.
So,
More silent time. Gulab, boliye, sir.
yes, so you made me more compassionate about my goal. I'll make sure that I take a pause in my life when I need for myself. Okay, and we already have prepared some questions for from our unit. Okay, from our
Sure.
volunteers. Okay, which I would like
Sure.
to ask to you.
Sure,
And
sure,
till
sure.
the time, if anybody else has any questions, you all can put it in the chat box.
Okay, so Gulab, may I suggest a small thing? You
Yes, sir.
ask me one or two questions,
Okay.
then we give space for others, two questions.
Okay, sir.
Then we come back to your list, two more, and then we
Okay.
go to the others. Let's go like that. Is that okay? So that there's enough space for everyone's voices.
Yeah, not a problem, sir.
ठीक है? Okay, Gulab. Question number one starts now. Yes.
Is it normal to feel lonely when one's looking for silence?
Is it normally normal to feel lonely? See, Gulab, I don't know. I mean, the experience is like this that when you are caught up with yourself, when I'm thinking only of myself, I'm thinking only of me, and myself, and I'm kind of in a little shell, then I begin to feel isolated and lonely. Yeah, but when I reach out, hey, that little doggy needs some food. Can I get a roti and give it to the doggy? I don't feel lonely. The doggy is happy, 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 wagging their tail. Or, some friend of mine, whether it's a Jenny or an Arya or a- anyone, Alina or someone says, I'm feeling upset. Okay, Alina, okay, Jenny, let me come and sit and listen to you. And they share their heart out, they share, and you're not doing anything. It's just listening. Suddenly you feel connected. Somebody doesn't have food on the streets, and you go out and you cook a nice khichdi for them and you give it to them. How can you feel lonely? You feel so connected to that person. And she blesses you, beta, so grateful to you. I was hungry and you gave me some food. Loneliness is a function of isolating yourself from life. And if you're feeling lonely, I do that sometimes. I go and hug a tree. And believe me, the tree hugs you back. The tree gives you so much love, so much love. Yeah, so reach out, Gulab. Yeah. And silence, what silence does is it little dissolves this little shell that we've created. You say, Arey Baba, this shell is all false. If you write down a self on a piece of paper and anagram that, it becomes false. A self anagrams into false. Say, क्या ये क्या हवा है यार, ये अलग से क्या कर रहा हूं मैं? अरे, I'm not this isolated body. I'm life. Yeah. So that silence helps you to get into that juiciness, into that silence and emptiness. Yeah. Okay. Gulab, next question before we throw it open to others.
Yes, sir. There have been arguments when people have said that individuality divides people, but we also popularize the idea of celebrating the difference. What are your views on that?
Okay. So just hang on. Give me a moment. Let me just see if I have a certain. Okay. Let me not use a slide. Let me say this. Every single one of us is born unique. Every one of us is unique. Your fingerprints are unique. You are unique. Your iris is unique. You're totally different. जो आपके गुण हैं गुलाब, the strengths you have that Lily doesn't have, Jasmine doesn't have, Pawan has strengths that Shamita Ahuja doesn't have, Rekha has strengths that Andrea doesn't have. We all bring certain strengths to life. However, if we remember that we are here to complete each other and not to compete with each other, I repeat, we are here to complete each other. You bring a jigsaw puzzle piece, Ankit brings another one, Ren brings another, Alina brings another, uh, you know, Rachel brings another, we all bring another, Jessica brings another. And when we join these jigsaw puzzle pieces together, each one unique, I can't bring the piece that Jessica brings, and she's got her unique strengths. Nandini has her unique strengths. Gulab has his unique. Sahil Pujari has his unique strengths. When we bring these strengths together to complete each other and serve each other, we move towards wholeness. And what is the difference between compete and complete? Can anyone tell me in the chat box? There's one letter which is different. Arya, what's the difference between compete and complete? Yeah, anyone? It's an easy one, huh? It's an easy one. What's the difference between compete and complete? Okay, L, right? Is that correct? The letter L. Excellent, excellent. That's right. Swati, very good. I really appreciate Swati. She's so active. Very good. L is different. Now, what about L can make a compete into complete? Listening. Yeah, you can unmute and speak. Listening. I'm giving you one example. We can listen to each other. You can unmute and tell me or put it in the chat
Learn
box.
from each other.
We can love each other.
Learn.
We can learn from each other. Excellent.
Help.
Sorry?
Help.
Yeah, we can help, we can leverage, we can serve. Yeah,
Love.
exactly. Love, exactly.
Show gratitude.
Show gratitude. Absolutely correct. And so when we serve with humility, when we're looking at ways to serve, suddenly competition fades away and you begin to complete each other. And there are three, four things I just want to leave you with, and then we'll come to the some more questions. One is gratitude, appreciation and gratitude. Hugely, hugely valuable. Appreciation, acceptance, very, very important. Accept yourself, accept others. If God wanted to make you different, He would have made you different. But He made you like this with a purpose, with a plan. So let's accept that. And of course, improve, but let's not compare and judge and compete and fight unnecessary stress. Yeah, humility, gratitude, service. Serve, serve, serve. Okay, two more questions from someone and then we'll go back to Gulab. Yes, please. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Any more
We had
questions?
this question from NSS Hinduja Swati Prajapati. She
Yeah.
says, is there any relation between insuk and the whole number starts with zero and infinite?
Okay, the Inshuk is a new creation, and I tell you something about the Inshuk. Whatever mathematical operation you do with the Inshuk, you'll get the same thing. So if you add something to it, you'll get Inshuk. If you divide it by something, you'll get the same thing. If you subtract from some, it'll get the same. You try it out. Whatever mathematical operation you do with the Inshuk, you'll get the same thing. It is a mathematically invariable. You subtract inchuk from it, it's still the same. You add inchuk to it, it's still the same. You divide it, you do anything to it, it's invariable. It is invariant. Now, your and of course, if your maths teacher catches me, I'll get zero upon infinity. I'll be thrown out of the maths class. But seriously, it is a new invention, it's a new creation. So play with it and maybe you can teach me a little bit about it. Okay, more questions. Actually, by the way, it's a mystery. It's not easy to comprehend that zero and infinity are the same thing. But when you're silent, you get it. Yeah, maybe. Maybe they are the same thing. When you zoom out, zoom out, zoom out into the cosmos, billions of light years away, you say, oh my God, it's all in the mind. It's all in the mind. And then you zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, and there's nothing there, just awareness. And that awareness is infinity, and that awareness is nothing. And what is it? Well, that's life. That's the mystery and beauty of life. That's the juiciness of life. Yeah. So, okay, some more questions, and I have a hard stop in 10 minutes from now. Yes, please. And
There
which
are
means if there are any thank you speeches or something, they have to be done before 10 minutes. उसी 10 मिनट में रेखा वो भी बोलना है अगर कुछ है. Yes, please. Let's have some questions.
there are no more questions in the chat
No
box.
more questions. Okay, let's have some. Uh, then maybe I can tell you a little thing. There was Kabir. Kabir was a amazing saint, and he said, "Chalti chakki dekh kar diya Kabira roy." I'll explain it. दो पाटन के बीच में साबुत बचा न कोई. So what he meant was, this whole day and night and coming and going and birth and death, and this is the chakki, the grindstone, and in this grindstone nobody or nothing remains. And therefore he was sad. Kabir was Diya Kabira Roy. He felt a bit sad, but his son was called Kamal, and his Kamal was a very, very amazing, miraculous miracle worker. And Kamal didn't like this. Said, "Hello, why are you talking this kind of stuff? Crying? Why are you crying?" So he made a new share. He said, "Chalti chakki dekh kar diya Kamala khil." Khil means happy. कि वो दाना साबुत बचा जो किल्ली से गया मिल. So if you've seen a chakki, those who have seen a chakki in your village or the grandmother or some place, you'll find that those little bits of grain that go into the center, they don't get pissaud. They don't get pissaud. They remain sabut. They remain okay. And what does it mean? It means that when we cleave to the silence of the heart, when we remember that God is present everywhere and everything, zarre zarre mein usi ka noor hai. जांक खुद में वो न तुझसे दूर है, इसमें उसमें सब जगह है वही, यार मेरा सब जगह भरपूर है. When you remember that Allah is everywhere, that Ram is in every particle of you, the Holy Spirit is in every bit of life. Where's the worry? Yes, the body will go away, things can change, but your spirit is eternal and it will never die. It cannot die because it is eternal, it's infinite, it's unbounded. And if you remember this and you own it and claim it in the silence of your heart, your life will be such a celebration, such a miracle, such a joy. Yeah. And that's what my deepest prayer for you is, my deepest wish for you is that you remember these simple things and celebrate it, be kind, be loving, be accepting, be grateful, be joyous and appreciative. Yeah, because whatever you appreciate will appreciate, and remain humble, and above all, service. Not only national service, but international service, local service, neighborhood service, family service, wherever you can serve, because seva mein meva hai. The more I serve joyfully, the more fruit there is. Okay, yes, please. Then we can move on to the vote of thanks now. Yes, please. Thank you.
With this, I would like to propose a vote of thanks.
Okay,
First,
sure.
firstly, Arun sir, I would like to thank you for conducting such an interesting webinar. I would like to thank PCGT collaborating with NSS unit of St. Andrews, Ms. Rekha Shahani for gracing us with her presence and her words, Ranjan sir for smooth for such a smooth function of the event, Rachel ma'am for guiding us. Lastly, to everyone who were present over here, thank you. So done.
Thank you, Gulab. Thank you, Rekha.
Thank you, Arunji, and
Thank
thank
you.
you each and every student who's here. It's such a
Yes.
joy to see so many students, And Arunji, thank you so much. And I learned two things today. One was about the tuition and intuition. Now I have something to quote. And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
quote
yeah.
Arun sir so often, so often. He has stories and stories. Next
Yeah,
time
yeah.
you should call him to listen only to his stories.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My pleasure. My
He's
pleasure.
and he runs this Pragati leadership program. Arun, you had sent to Rensden that program where we wanted these youth also,
Yeah, yeah.
These are
The
the
I
bachas who can
catalyst.
join you.
Yeah, yeah. So we are today we are running. In fact, that's why there's a hard stop because we are starting the first cohort at 6:30. But this is the first cohort. Later on, I'll be very, very happy if many of you can join the I Catalyst program, which is a catalyst of inspiration, initiative, integration, and innovation. I will send the details to Rekha ma'am, to Renzon, and he will share it with you and you can sign up. Also, two other quick things. My book called One Wholesome World is for free download. And I'm requesting Sean to just put the thing in the chat box. There's a free download. You can download the whole book. Managing from the Heart is also a free download. Yeah, there you are. Rekha's got the book. Yeah, that's nice. So you can download the whole book for free. And it's got some very practical things, practical ideas on thing. And of course, inspired by all of you, I'm writing a small booklet now called Awaken I, which will be a tiny booklet with a lot of pictures, which I'm dedicating to the youth of the world, which is all of you. With all my love and gratitude, I take your leave and wish you well. Yeah,
Thank you.
stay in touch with who you are. And let me finally say you're awesome. You're all awesome.
Thanks a lot,
Absolutely
sir.
awesome in your own way and celebrate that. Okay?
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank
Thank
you. Bye. Bye, Renzon. Bye,
thank
everyone.
you. All
Thanks.
the
Sir,
NS
thank you.
volunteers, thank you
Thanks.
so
Thanks.
Thank you,
much.
Thank
Rekha
you.
ma'am.
Not at all.
Thanks.
See you all
Bye.
soon.
Guys,
Bye,
guys,
Arun. Bye,
everyone,
Rekha.
Bye, Kalindi. Thanks for
Bye. Bye.
joining.
Kalvi.
Bye,
guys, please fill
everyone.
the feedback
Bye.
form,
All the
which will be
Yes.
all of y'all,
which is given in the
fantastic for
chat box.
being there.